claiming they were actually behind it. The claim by the Islamic State was likely false, as they claim to have tried to assassinate Hassan Rouhani, who was not even at the event. The Struggle Movement is an Arab separatist group that wants to make southwestern Iran an independent Arab-dominated nation. Iranian officials were quick to complain about Gulf Arab states backing such groups. In addition, Iran summoned the ambassadors of Denmark, Britain, and the Netherlands after the attack, complaining that the nations are hosting members of the separatist groups and pushing for them to list the organizations as a terrorist group after the attack. An initial statement from the Iranian military blamed the U.S. and Israel for orchestrating the attack, though subsequent statements focused on the Arab separatist movements and regional nations who sponsor them. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They are working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports a federal judge on Friday called for U.S. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross to sit for a deposition in a lawsuit against his department regarding a question about citizenship being added to the 2020 census. In March, the Commerce Department announced the question would be included in the census, which the Trump administration said was necessary to enforce the Voting Rights Act. Democrats have argued that adding the question will lead to an inaccurate population count because it will discourage some immigrants from filling out the questionnaire. In April, then New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, along with 17 other attorneys general and mayors of 6 cities, filed a lawsuit to block the Trump administration from demanding the citizenship information in the 2020 census. District Judge Jesse Furman of the Southern District of New York said Ross needs to testify because he was personally and directly involved in the decision and the unusual process leading to it to an unusual degree. Earlier this year, Ross testified before the House and said the Department of Justice initiated the request to include the citizenship question, and afterwards he decided to take a hard look at the request. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. Reuters reports the U.S. airline industry scored a victory on Saturday as bipartisan congressional legislation dropped plans to mandate reasonable and proportional baggage and change fees, but includes other new passenger protections. After weeks of negotiations, a 1,200-page bill to reauthorize the FAA was unveiled early Saturday that would require the FAA to set minimum dimensions for passenger seats, including legroom and width, and prohibit airlines from involuntarily removing passengers from flights after they've cleared the boarding gate. In April 2017, video went viral on social media of 69-year-old passenger Dr. David Dow being dragged from a United Airlines flight at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport after he refused to give up his seat to make room for a crew member. United apologized and promised not to remove seated passengers to make room for other passengers. But airlines have heavily lobbied against new rules limiting fees. Airline revenue in the United States from baggage and reservation change fees increased from $5.7 billion in 2010 to $7.5 billion in 2017. Other fees are not reported to regulators. Congress is set to vote on the measure next week ahead of a September 30th deadline. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
For years, Southwest Airlines has boasted having the most loyal customers in the industry. Now the low-cost carrier is calling on its most frequent customers to finally do something in return for the airline. The company rolled out their new Loyalty Goes Both Ways program in a new ad campaign.
You said you wanted free check bags, and we listened. Now you listen to us.
Southwest's program is part of a new trend of companies not letting their customers exploit them anymore. CEO Gary C. Kelly has gone as far as to record this radio ad, which Southwest started airing nationwide.
Hi, this is Southwest CEO Gary Kelly. If my wife calls asking about me, I need you to lie and say I was with you. Remember all those low fares I gave you.
To any Southwest customers thinking about saying they're too busy to help, Kelly has some harsh words saying, quote, "We're always there for our customers. To anyone who can't do us a solid now and then, f*** you. That's not loyalty, that's freeloading."
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
That's right, it is Free Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition. It's Mark with you.
And Darryl.
You can call in, talk about whatever you want to talk about here on this live edition of Free Talk Live. But we always bring things in. I want to tell you real quick about the Discord chat. It's probably worth bringing up. If you go to discord.freetalklive.com, that's discord.freetalklive.com, you can download the app and you can call in and sound a heck of a lot better than just sort of using the old legacy phone system. It's good. It certainly brought us out of the dark ages, but audio quality on voice over IP is just better. So discord.freetalklive.com. And then we don't have to use that crappy Skype product that they got out there.
We've not been using Skype for several months, Mark.
Yeah, several months. But, it was just, they kept on updating it and it was wonky and buggy and sorry, I didn't like it.
Yeah, so the last couple of updates that they did, they made it to where you can't turn off the ringer.
Yeah.
And so we were just getting the ringing noises, and that's no bueno.
Yeah. Discord.freetalklive.com. So I brought in this Kavanaugh thing, this Supreme Court nominee. You've heard about him, right, Darryl?
Yes, I have heard about him, and I know that the Republicans are saying, the Democrats are on a witch hunt.
Yep.
And apparently there are some allegations of some sexual assault. I've not read the details of it. And
the devil is in the details.
Some people are wanting these things investigated, and other people are saying it should not be investigated because reasons. And I think if there's an allegation, then it should be looked at. But I'm not the person to look at it because I'm not the judge in this case.
Sure. There will be an investigation. The Senate hearing will be held on Thursday, as I understand it.
All right.
And for me, there seems to be a rush to judgment. So I have a couple of problems with the whole thing, but I just wanted to have a couple of stories about rushes to judgment here to bring this to start us off here.
So what you're saying is the court of public opinion is rushing to a judgment. That almost never happens, I say with tongue firmly planted in my cheek.
Yeah, it almost always happens. From the Washington Post, now this isn't a news story. It was brought to mind for me because of this. A man helped a lost toddler find her parents, police say. He was smeared.
So this is not a Brett Kavanaugh story.
No, this is a story.
You just somehow mentioned Brett Kavanaugh to then bring up this story.
Yep. This is a rush to judgment story.
Okay.
Yeah. The man was smeared online as a predator and left town. A man trying to help a lost toddler find her parents was misidentified as a kidnapper on social media over the weekend, according to police in Lakeland, Florida, promoting him to leave town in fear for his safety and the safety of his family. The man was also punched by the child's father, who told local media that he thought he was trying to take my daughter and I want to kill him. Hold
on. So the guy who says, I'm trying to help this little girl find her family, is punched by the father because somehow I'm trying to help this lost girl find her family is now code in Florida for I'm trying to kidnap a kid?
Well, right, so this was a softball game. The father, some friends of the father say, hey, ain't that some stranger with your little girl over there? What the hell is he trying to do, kidnap her or something? Right? And then the father's like, oh, hell no. Hey, hell no. Come on. We're going to get him. Right? And then they go over and say, hey, son, what are you doing? Right?
I'm trying to help this girl find her family.
Bam. Tell it to the ground. Right? So that's basically how it went down.
So at what point did this father find out that the guy was trying to help the girl find her family?
Find out suggests that he believes that his actions were wrong. So the father held to the story. Oh, Well, the police come and tell him that, hey, look, this guy was trying to find you and your family to get your daughter back.
Which means that he found out some information that he didn't have prior to throwing fists.
Look, some police department we have here in Lakeland, Florida. My God.
So,
why don't you people arrest him?
Hold on. So before we continue, apparently you know a lot more about Lakeland, Florida than I do, and I'm guessing a lot of our listeners also don't know about Lakeland, Florida. Apparently, like, you're making it out like this is redneck capital of the world.
Well, I mean, there are probably more people that talk like I was just talking there. Remember, I'm from a nearly adjoining county to Lakeland. The Manatee County it is a diagonal to Lakeland County. So I have a reasonable idea of what the accent's like. If somebody wants to come after me on it, all right, I'm a local.
Right. I'm just saying that the way you're telling this story has a lot of context that somebody that knows nothing about Lakeland, Florida is going to miss.
No, really, there are idiots everywhere, and this father is an idiot, okay?
Got it.
That's what we call them when we're from the center part of the state of Florida. We call them idiots, all right? So this is a man who is so bad at parenting, his child gets lost, and in order to cover for his bad parenting, he decides to beat another man. So bad, and then that person and his friends are so bad about it that guy flees the county in order to be safe.
Right. So I'm guessing at some point during police involvement, the police are told that, by the guy that got his ass whooped, this girl was wandering around, and I don't know how intelligent. Maybe he was talking like this to this little girl here. She's wandering around. She's all kinds of lost. And I was like, well, I got me a little girl, and she's at home with the ex-wife and, baby mama number 4. And I felt sorry for this girl, so I figured I'd help her find her daddy. And so I was trying to find her daddy, and then somebody come over and says, that's my girl. What are you doing? And before I could say that I was trying to help this little girl that reminds me of my little girl find her daddy, he's just wailing on me in the face.
That's pretty much what happened, yeah.
So at what point did the guy that did the punching get informed by police or someone that the guy he was punching was trying to help his daughter?
After the punching.
Like days after, hours after, minutes?
Minutes after.
Got it.
Yeah. And it's the jump to conclusion, right? So the accusation was made, and it literally in the story, it says here, the accusation was made. One of the friends basically said, hey, that guy's trying to kidnap your daughter. Accusations made. The accusation is so terrible. Kidnapping a 2-year-old girl is a terrible accusation, right?
Kidnapping is not a good thing.
Right. The accusation's made, and it's so terrible that people have to presume that it's true, because it's not the power of the act that the person did. It's the power of the accusation that's made against them at this point. And this is what I mean by jumping to conclusions, is just because somebody's made a terrible accusation doesn't mean that we shouldn't employ 1,000 years of English common law to determine what's true and what isn't. That even though Brett Kavanaugh isn't being accused of a crime here, he's simply up for a job interview, doesn't mean we should lower the standard of proof. Because then that gives anybody at any time, in any place, an opportunity to just make any old accusation that they could, that they want to, and that accusation has weight because that accusation is terrible.
So what is the 1,000 years of common law that you're saying should be employed? Because there are some people that they think that shoot first, ask questions later is common law.
Jurisprudence, right? Like, so we've got all kinds of steps in order to prove things. And the difference between helping a 2-year-old girl find her parents and kidnapping her, well, as far as actions go, they're not a lot different. But intent really matters. And in this case, we wouldn't know the intent until you start talking to people. You got to start asking questions and these kind of things. I don't think in the Brett Kavanaugh case that we're going to find any proof. You're talking about somebody who works within the legal system. They're not going to just spill the beans on themselves if they were guilty. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live. You can comment on Kavanaugh or this situation of the kidnapping in Lakeland, or not kidnapping. Free Talk Live.
On August 24th, 1992, 20 eager Cardozo law students filed into a small room to kick off the first day of Barry Scheck and Peter Newfield's Innocence Project clinic. After years as public defenders in New York City, Barry and Peter started the clinic to review cases of people in prison who could prove their innocence using DNA testing. What they thought was a few hundred cases turned out to be thousands, and a clear sign that the system needed repair. At the time, no one imagined that Barry's and Peter's vision would evolve into a national organization with the power to reform the criminal justice system 26 years later. Since that August day in 1992, there are now 565 Cardozo Law School clinic students trained, and the Innocence Project has celebrated 208 exonerations. They've also worked together to pass over 150 laws in the U.S. to help prevent wrongful convictions. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save ATPurse.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Email is easy, instant, and free, and that can be real embarrassing. Email lacks the eye contact and body language you get in face-to-face conversation, or the tone of voice and other nuance you hear in a telephone conversation. Email is just words, often few words. We're all smothering in spam, so we often reply in terse fashion that's easy to misunderstand. And email doesn't cost you a postage stamp, and it lacks the deliberation time it'd take to walk to the snail mail box. So it's easy to succumb to the "oh yeah" stimulus response trap. When in doubt, don't snap back at snippy messages you get. You may have mistaken the sender's intent. And unless you're sending AOL to AOL, there's no unsend. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Talk Live. Call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. I'm telling a story here that went on in Florida relatively recently, where a young girl was lost, and the guy who found her trying to get her back to her parents, gets beaten up by a mob led by the girl's daughter.
You mean the girl's father?
Yeah, I'm sorry. The daughter. Yeah, right. The father, of which she is the daughter, right? That makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2-year-olds generally don't have daughters.
Yeah, generally not. So what I'm trying to do is draw some parallels here and just generally talking about rushing to judgment. This father, I believe, rushed to judgment in this circumstance. Seems pretty clear. But your thoughts on it, 855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE. I'm interested, have you ever been in a situation like this? Someone rushed to judgment on you. What was that like? I was in a situation like that. I'm going to tell you about that here real quick. Texas Bitcoin Conference is the fourth Texas Bitcoin Conference. It's coming up fast. It's October the 27th and 28th. It's in Austin, Texas. The Texas Bitcoin Conference is always a great event for networking, innovation, and entertainment. This year, speakers include Paul Snow of Factum, Bruce Fenton of Ravencoin, Professor John M. Griffin, and many more. Go to TexasBitcoinConference.com right now and get your tickets. I'm going to be there emceeing a room. Should be a lot of fun. Free Talk Live will be there again, and we'd love to see you. TexasBitcoinConference.com. It's a great event. They change venue every year. Just check them out. TexasBitcoinConference.com. So, Darryl, at one point, I was dating this gal, and she wanted to see bats. Specifically, the solution I came up with was to go to the Florida caverns.
All right.
Have you heard of these?
Can't say that I have.
Okay,
but I'm guessing that it's a system of caves located somewhere in Florida.
You're correct. It's in the panhandle of Florida, and you being from Alabama, I thought maybe you might have heard of this. It's closer to where you're from in Birmingham, or at least I don't know where Birmingham is in Alabama. It's closer to Alabama than it is
North Central.
Then probably about the same distance, the distance from where I'm from.
Yeah, it's about a 5-hour drive from Birmingham to any of the beaches.
Yeah, that sounds about right. About equidistant. So, we went up there to see some bats and some caves. We took the little tour or whatever. They have on site some camping. So we took my mother's van and we slept in the van.
All right.
And it was lots of fun. At some point at this event, I'm going to use the restroom.
All right.
And they've got, the little on-site sort of rustic restroom situations. And I'm going in there to use the bathroom, and there's a little boy comes in, and he can't get his pants undone. Little fingers, they have a difficult time with pants and stuff. So he's asking me, and sort of, he doesn't have great English to begin with.
You're a grown-up. Can you help me?
That's pretty much the situation, right? And
where's your parents? I will get them.
That's kind of what I'm saying, is where are your parents? And he's just kind of indicating in a direction, and I don't know what to do. And so
I know what I would do.
Well,
I would step out. Hold on. Let me explain what I would do, because I have a fairly loud, boisterous voice.
Yes, you do.
I would, step outside of the restroom and just yell really loud, "There's a kid in here! Where's the parents?"
That was not the solution I came up with.
All right.
The solution that I decided was, kind of looking around, not knowing what to do, and telling him he needs to go back and find his family to solve this problem. Well, he kind of began to cry, and he wet himself right there. I walked out of the restroom and went back to my site. Now,
I think in my situation, or my made-up scenario here, he probably would have wet himself anyway.
Yep.
But at least I'd tried to get the attention of someone that might be his parent.
Do you see what's broken in society here, though? How you and I can't help some little boy who has his zipper stuck in the bathroom, because the immediate presumption's going to be that not what's most likely, which is a 2-year-old can't open his zipper.
Right.
But what is most horrifying, which is that some kind of awful sexual assault has been caught right in the mid-act. And because
Well, that is what Republicans tell us is going to happen if you allow more than one person in the bathroom at a time.
I have no idea what Republicans are trying to tell me about bathrooms, and I would say...
Oh, you've not paid attention to the bathroom debate over the last 2.5 years?
Paid a little bit of attention to the bathroom
debate.
Yeah,
if you allow more than one person in the bathroom at a time, everybody's just going to be raping everybody.
Well, we've been letting more than
something.
One person. There's a bit of an argument involved. However... what I'm saying is wrong with society.
Yes.
Is that we jump to the conclusion that people that we have never met are doing something horrible in this circumstance rather than doing something good.
Right. And a lot of it has to do with people just being taught from very young ages that everybody that's a stranger is going to try to do horrible things.
Clearly, this young man did not have that thought process. By the way, this young man is probably driving at this point. That story is that old. And I've thought about it many times since then. I feel bad about it. I wish I could have helped this kid, but I was just too scared.
Right. I remember when I was fairly young. I don't remember exactly how old, but it was when was it John Walsh, when his son wound up getting kidnapped and beheaded, being told, like, if you lose sight of me, my parents telling me this, if you lose sight of me in the shopping mall, somebody's going to kidnap you.
Yeah. Of course, you ran around free as you could be out by your house.
Right, and we would ride our bicycles from the concession stand at the lake that my dad ran to what used to be a Burger King, and it's no longer Burger King. This involved us crossing First Avenue North in Birmingham, which is like a 5 or 6 lane major road, half a mile away from where the thing was. But when we're at the shopping mall, if you lose sight of me, you're going to be kidnapped.
Yeah. And you're right. We're scared with this stuff. And I think it's a shame. This whole stranger danger thing. Kids are much more likely. If whomever would have come, this little girl here in the story that was lost, and the strangers trying to help her find her family, she's statistically much more likely to be abused by the family
or kidnapped
by a family member than by the stranger whom was beat up by the father.
Right.
And that's a real shame. And the story goes on. I don't need to read it, but I can basically tell you that more or less the friends of the family here wouldn't let go of the notion that this guy was some kind of pedophile and kidnapper and that sort of thing. So they hounded him on Facebook to the point that he left town. The police have completely exonerated this guy. This is just mob mentality.
Yes.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE as in freedom. And I'm curious, what do you think? 855-450-FREE.
Ever wonder how Bitcoin and Ethereum were created? Vercel Media has helped hundreds of companies and individuals make their own cryptocurrency. Decentralized blockchain solutions are making the world more transparent and giving power back to the people. Vercel Media has helped companies raise tens of millions in the past year alone, structuring and marketing ICOs to the thirsty crypto public worldwide. Don't miss the cryptocurrency revolution. Visit vercelmedia.com, VERCEL media.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Free Talk Live.
Rights are inherent because we're humans, and they're a good idea that we respect among one another. Look, I mean, I believe in the I believe in your right to defend yourself. So if you want to,
don't you believe in the right as a country to defend our borders?
Collectives don't have rights. Only individuals have rights.
No, we have right as a collective, as a country.
No, I don't think that you can grant something to a collective that you don't have yourself. So you don't have the right to, like, put a gun to my head and take money from me, right?
No, certainly not.
Okay, well then you wouldn't have the ability to grant that to a collective. You wouldn't have, you and 10 other people getting together wouldn't be able to create a collective right to put a gun to my head and take my money, would you?
Then what do we have government for?
I don't know, man. It's something we've been saddled with for a long time, and I think it's about time that we end it.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition. Mark with you.
And Darryl.
You can call in, talk about whatever you want to talk about. We recently got finished with a story here about a man who was beaten up for trying to return a lost little girl to her family and jump into conclusions. And, I got another story about jumping to conclusions, but Darryl, please tell me about CryptoTip.
CryptoTip is an outreach tool that you can use to help new people discover cryptocurrencies. They're printable business card size tips that you give to a service provider, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it brings up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and then allows them to claim the amount that you put on the tip. And here's the best part. If they don't claim the tip, you've not just thrown out some crypto that's lost into the ether.
Right.
It comes back to you after a period of time that you indicate when you set up the crypto tips.
Yes.
Now you get to choose from 1, 2, 3, 6, or 12 months. And again, if it's not redeemed during that period of time, it comes back to you. But if they do redeem the tip, you get an email alert. And then that can be some handy information, especially if after you leave the tip, you go into the site and then leave notes on, here's where I left this particular tip. And then you know who redeemed the money, or in theory. So there's one of the restaurants here in town that they do accept cryptocurrency, and several people have left crypto tips for the wait staff. They've actually wound up selling the crypto to one of the guys that works in the kitchen. So we thought, this particular waitress or cashier wound up cashing in the tip, but turns out no, she sold it to the guy in the kitchen. But we were able to get that information, whereas if we didn't leave the notes on where we left these particular tips, we never would have known, oh, yeah, they're selling tips to the guy in the kitchen.
It's a great outreach tool.
Cryptotip.org.
And at the very least, the young lady saw the value. Right?
Yeah.
Like she sees the value in it, some value in it, even if she's not ready to do some kind of computer work in order to find it.
Right.
She sees value.
Yeah, and the guy working in the kitchen, he's like, oh, yeah.
Give me that.
I'll buy that from you. Here's some cash.
Yep.
Cash money.
Indeed. Another story about jumping to conclusions here from thetelegraph.co.uk. A widower who checked into a travel lodge with his teenage daughter last week, and this is not a news story. I'm just trying to bring up stories about jumping to conclusions, and these two jumped to mind. When a staff member called police, apparently suspecting he was a pedophile. Craig Darwell, 46, had booked a room at the hotel at Chertsey, Surrey, for he and his daughter, Millie, 13, to stay at during a visit to Thorpe Park. We checked in, and then I had to move my car, Mr. Darwell said. When I got back to the reception, the guy started asking me to prove I was her dad. He said it was company policy that I had to go onto Facebook to show messages that I'd sent to her. It was bizarre and really offensive. Then he told me that he'd already called the police, so I had to wait for them to arrive. Luckily, it took them about 2 seconds to realize that he had the wrong end of the stick, but it ruined the weekend for me, he says.
Of course it did.
Surrey police said we were called by a member of the staff to the Travel Lodge on Guildford Street in Chertsey on Thursday, and following a concern for safety, officers attended and made no arrests. No further inquiries will take place. And this, so, here you have the accusation, and now we have to have an investigation. An investigation of a father. Now, what would he, what would happen if this was me? And I just said, well, I'm just not going to put up with this. If they'd already run my card or whatever, have them come to my room.
Right.
He could talk to me and my daughter there. I'm not going to stay here because some hotel clerk has said, well, by God, I think you may be a pedophile and you'll stay right here until the police give me satisfaction. I don't work for you, chump.
Right. Now, do we know if, and I don't know if this was one of the hotels that has security or not, but, could it have been some hotel security guard that's like, yeah, you ain't getting by me?
At this point, there's no mention in the story at all about hotel security.
Right.
So it's just that the police showed up relatively quickly, and we don't know how long it took the police to show up, but relatively quickly, once they did show up, they ascertained that this was not an issue.
Right.
And fortunately, they went off and did that. But how many times has this sort of thing rolled on and rolled on and rolled on in an investigation and just besides ruining somebody's weekend, which, this few minutes did, according to this guy, could have gone a lot further and ruined a lot more.
Right.
Once this story gets back to the guys at the office, it may sound entirely differently. Okay, well, you're taken down to the station for questioning. Well, he was arrested for, pederasty with his daughter.
Well, it doesn't say that he was taken into the police department.
No, it doesn't. But this is...
you're talking about the game of telephone that winds up.
That's what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about people jumping to conclusions. I'm talking about the way accusations roll.
Right.
And the reason that we have to be careful with ideas that we hear on the news.
Right.
With this 24-hour news cycle as it exists, news companies are constantly hungry for that next piece, the next fact in a case. And facts may not always be facts. So bringing this back...
Hold on. What do you mean? Facts
things
might
that
not
are presented
always...
as facts may not always be facts.
Okay. Got it. I thought you were saying factual details about a thing might not actually be facts.
Yeah, but when you're presented in the news things as facts, in many cases they're not. I haven't read a news story yet that was about me and something that I knew intimately about that was 100% correct.
True.
And if they always get something wrong. I'm not saying journalists are bad people or anything. I'm just saying no one's perfect. And when you presume that you read an article, like we do, We look at articles here on Free Talk Live. We act like they're factual because that's just kind of the model of what we do. We act like they're factual, and we talk about them as though that's what occurred. But in reality, I've never been in a situation where a news story has been written about me where it's been 100% factual. There's always something, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm not even going to bother. Or now with the way that stories can be changed online, I usually write something to the author and say,
right.
Yeah, this and this, not exactly right. You've got a little wrong, but
right. And you're talking about minor details, not major.
Minor details in the presentation of a major accusation can look like a big thing. So back to the Brett Kavanaugh situation. I'm told things that happened in a room when Kavanaugh was a teenager in Georgetown, Maryland. I'm told things occurred, and they're presented as though, well, this is a fact because it hasn't been countered with anything or something. And I'm very, very, very concerned about jumping to conclusions. I think that Kavanaugh could handle this better. I really do. I think he should come out and make a statement. Look, I deny categorically all of these accusations. But Ms. Ford's experience sounds genuine in her delivery. And I really want to say I'm sorry for whatever occurred to her. I don't know what it was. I don't know who did it. But I know that she had something bad happen. And I want to say I'm really sorry that thing happened. And that sort of acknowledgement, I feel like, would diffuse a situation as best as it could, rather than both sides huddling up and, getting ready for the big fight and all that stuff, which is really what it's all going to be about.
Right. And like I said, I've not followed this particular story. So has he even acknowledged that there's an allegation against him?
Yes, he's denied it vociferously.
Okay, so how is him denying it different from what you said he should do by saying he denies the allegation?
Yeah, rather than just a straight denial, an apology for the person's experience, whatever that experience might be.
Got it.
Yeah. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. What do you expect to happen in this Kavanaugh case? I'm curious because I think he's going through. Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses on the setup page, and then load the app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. AnyPay.global. Zencash is now Horizon, and Free Talk Live is giving away some Zen. Over the last 6 weeks, we've given away 8 Zen, and we're giving away more. To enter the next giveaway, send your transparent Zen address via email to Darryl at freetalklive.com and tell us how you listen to the show. The winner will be randomly selected from all entries received before noon on Wednesday, September 26th. Again, to enter, send your transparent Zen address via email to Darryl at freetalklive.com. Tell us how you listen to the show.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years from My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
Who told you you can go this way? You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. This is...
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait,
now.
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me.
You
What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Juicy Juice, 100% juice, providing a full serving of fruit in every 4 ounces. Visit us at juicyjuice.com. When it comes to nutrition, kids need both fruits and vegetables every day to stay healthy and grow. For the ideal mix, your kid should have at least 1.5 cups of any veggie or 100% veggie juice, and 1 cup of any fruit or 100% fruit juice a day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live Sunday edition with Mark
and Darryl.
You can call in at 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. I've read a couple of stories here about sort of the human condition, jumping to conclusions, reasons that we have a jurisprudence and an illegal system. We have it, for one, to prove whether or not somebody did something.
Right.
And I think it's important that even though we're just talking about a job interview here, Brett Kavanaugh, for those that don't know, is up for a Supreme Court nomination. And we're just talking about a job interview here, the Senate confirmation hearing. However, that doesn't mean that we should lower our standards for proof.
And technically, the Senate confirmation hearing is not a job interview.
What is it?
The Senate is not supposed to be in the position of choosing the Supreme Court nominees. They're supposed to, in accordance with the Constitution, and whether you agree that it's one thing or another, blah, 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 they're supposed to advise and consent to the presidential selection.
Okay.
So the president, before making the selection, is supposed to be the one doing the interviews.
Sure.
And then the Senate is supposed to wind up saying, good choice, bad choice.
Yeah. It's still basically a job interview. Interviews can... I've been through...
Right. It's an interview of sorts,
yeah,
but it should not really be the interview process, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And, I don't really know if it's, one of these things of the rise of the 24-hour news cycle or whatnot that is allowing these choices to be scrutinized more. Because I do vaguely recall there was something back in the 80s where somebody wound up, and I don't even know what the allegation was against him, but, he wound up getting rejected. And
I don't think it was him, but I remember one of them had a...
there's the term being
made.
borked.
Yes.
That's a term. And as far as I can tell, it just means getting rejected by the Senate, but it might mean something else.
It's a fun word, and it probably means anything that the user wants it to mean.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of users that don't know what words mean.
Socialism is a word that apparently some self-avowed socialist cannot define.
I think that socialism is a word that has gotten so much use that it's almost beyond what it means. But all right, let's go with the article here.
The article here comes from Fee, written by Dan Mitchell. He says, I've written many times about socialism, which is sometimes a frustrating task because the definition is slippery. And then he appears to be quoting something that says, I suspect the average supporter of Bernie Sanders or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez thinks that socialism is big government with lots of handouts financed by class warfare taxation. Since that's the common perception, is that the definition we should use?
I think that's democratic socialism pretty much to a T.
The technical definition of socialism, though, is government ownership of the means of production.
That's what I was taught in school, state ownership of the means of production.
Which entails central planning, price controls, and other forms of intervention. So, at the risk of being pedantic, is that how the term should be defined? He then continues the article that says, as an economist, I prefer the latter approach, which is why I've pushed back, though not necessarily in a favorable way, against those who call Obama a socialist. A few years ago, I tried to reconcile this definitional conflict by creating a diagram to show that there are several strains of socialism. And then he includes in here a diagram showing
his diagram
his diagram showing totalitarians, and he's got a picture of Hitler and Stalin. Socialist, and there's a picture of it's a small enough picture to where I can't make out the face.
People.
What I shouldn't say self-described crazies, but what he describes as crazies. And then there's a picture of the Greek flag and Bernie Sanders. And then they all come together. There's a picture of Obama and then a picture of Hillary Clinton. And then over to the right, ironically enough, it says rational lefties, and there's a picture of all of the Scandinavian flags.
All right.
He says, I also created a 2x2 matrix to show how various nations should be characterized when measuring redistribution and intervention, and I'll pull that up and take a look at it in a bit. It says, even socialists don't know what socialism is. If you think I'm somehow being unfair, check out this recent column in the New York Times. Even an advocate for socialism has a hard time saying what it is. And then there's an excerpt from that article that says, public support for socialism is growing. Self-identified socialists like Bernie Sanders, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Rashida Tlaib are making inroads in the Democratic Party. Membership in the Democratic Socialist of America, the largest socialist organization in the country, is skyrocketing, especially among young people. What do we mean in 2018 when we say socialism? Socialism means different things to different people. For some, it conjures the Soviet Union and the gulags. For others, Scandinavia and guaranteed income. But neither is the true vision of socialism. What the socialist seeks is freedom. When the basic needs of life compel submission to the market and subjugation at work, we live not in freedom but in domination. Socialists want to end that domination, to establish freedom from rule by the boss, from the obligation to sell for the sake of survival.
That sounds right. It sounds like, precisely what I hear is that in many cases these far lefties are like, the marketplace doesn't work, and work is hard, and I'm bad at my job.
Yeah, this reminds me of the cartoon that the guy is, I'm being oppressed, blah, 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 I've got to work, I'm just going to go live on an island, and then he goes off to an island and then realizes he has to, scavenge for food, and he says, the environment is oppressing me.
Yes. The environment will oppress you. If it isn't your boss oppressing you, the environment will. I mean, I'm sorry, but planet Earth isn't easy. Paradise was lost some time ago, if it was ever found, mind you. And
good reference to some really long, boring books.
Well, mostly it's a reference to the Adam and Eve, but yeah, that's the books are the reference to Adam and Eve losing paradise. But whatever.
It's also interesting that, and I've not fact-checked this, but I did hear that the guy that wrote Paradise Lost wrote that the year that he got married, and he wrote Paradise Found after his wife died.
Oh.
I don't know if it's true. I've not fact-checked it, but it's a good joke. If not,
it's a good joke.
Continuing with the Fee article here, where he's talking about this little excerpt from the New York Times. He says, the claim that socialism is freedom sounds bizarre, because it is bizarre. But it's not new. It's the crazy idea of positive liberty that was the basis for FDR's so-called Economic Bill of Rights. Basically, we should all be free to live off of other people, though this cartoon sums up why that approach doesn't work. And it's a picture that says socialism. Sign up here. No work, free stuff. Just an infinite line of people. And then the other door says, work hard, keep half. Nobody's in that line.
Yeah.
Though
well,
that's just...
At this point, I think you're closer to work hard and keep a third, but... that's just income tax. There's all kinds of other taxes. I've had friends of mine who make a lot of money who say that basically they keep about a tenth of what they, produce in gross.
Now, are they including all of their living expenses in that, or are they just accounting for the taxes?
No, that's just basically take home after taxes. And now, admittedly, this person, makes a lot of money, but I mean, I kind of have to ask myself, if I was in a situation where I was, I had a lot of money and, you're talking about making more money. If I had to do the work to produce $1 and only got to keep 10 cents out of that dollar, would I do it? Or would I just go out and play golf? I don't play golf, but find something else to do.
You'd take up golf.
Yeah. Do something that sounds like more fun than working. And if you take your big producers out of the marketplace, what's it going to do for the marketplace? It doesn't seem like it's going to be good. If your basketball team, you pull all the marquee players off and you throw them on the bench.
You're not going to have a good basketball team.
You're not. Now, if the other teams are doing the same thing, then you're just all watching a high school basketball team.
College.
All right. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450. Free as in freedom here on Free Talk Live. Or you can use the Discord chat at discord.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733.
Heart-related health problems affect millions of people each year. Maybe you're one of the many who suffer from issues related to angina pain, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, unbalanced cholesterol, irregular heartbeat, or clogged arteries. There is a solution that doesn't involve expensive prescription drugs that only mask the problem and leave you with horrible side effects. If you are ready to live your life free of sickness, pain, and fear, live your life with increased vitality, energy, and youthfulness, and experience your body healing itself, then you're ready for Heart and Body Extract from Healthy Hearts Club. Here is what one satisfied customer had to say about Heart and Body Extract regarding his angina pain.
I haven't had an angina pain since I've been on it. The Heart Body Extract is just so great. I thank God that I was led to this product that's doing so much for me and that can do so much for other people.
Call to order your 2-month supply of Heart and Body Extract today. Call 1-866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, September 23rd, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.30 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,199 per ounce. Zen is trading at $16, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,729. Antiwar.com reports 4 gunmen in military uniforms aligned with separatist groups attacked a military parade on Saturday in the Iranian city of Avaz. The gunmen opened fire on civilians and tried to shoot officers on the podium overseeing the event. At least 25 people were killed in the attack, some as young as 4 years old. Over 60 others were wounded in the attack. Iran reported 2 of the gunmen were killed and 2 of them were captured. The Islamic State has claimed credit for the attack, which was followed up by a group called the Arab Struggle Movement for the Liberation of Avaz, claiming they were actually behind it. The claim by the Islamic State was likely false, as they claim to have tried to assassinate Hassan Rouhani, who was not even at the event. The Struggle Movement is an Arab separatist group that wants to make southwestern Iran an independent Arab-dominated nation. Iranian officials were quick to complain about Gulf Arab states backing such groups. In addition, Iran summoned the ambassadors of Denmark, Britain, and the Netherlands after the attack, complaining that the nations are hosting members of the separatist groups and pushing for them to list the organizations as a terrorist group after the attack. An initial statement from the Iranian military blamed the U.S. and Israel for orchestrating the attack, though subsequent statements focused on the Arab separatist movements and regional nations who sponsor them. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They are working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports a federal judge on Friday called for U.S. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross to sit for a deposition in a lawsuit against his department regarding a question about citizenship being added to the 2020 census. In March, the Commerce Department announced the question would be included in the census, which the Trump administration said was necessary to enforce the Voting Rights Act. Democrats have argued that adding the question will lead to an inaccurate population count because it will discourage some immigrants from filling out the questionnaire. In April, then New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, along with 17 other attorneys general and mayors of 6 cities, filed a lawsuit to block the Trump administration from demanding the citizenship information in the 2020 census. District Judge Jesse Furman of the Southern District of New York said Ross needs to testify because he was personally and directly involved in the decision and the unusual process leading to it to an unusual degree. Earlier this year, Ross testified before the House and said the Department of Justice initiated the request to include the citizenship question, and afterwards he decided to take a hard look at the request. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. Reuters reports the U.S. airline industry scored a victory on Saturday as bipartisan congressional legislation dropped plans to mandate reasonable and proportional baggage and change fees, but includes other new passenger protections. After weeks of negotiations, a 1,200-page bill to reauthorize the FAA was unveiled early Saturday that would require the FAA to set minimum dimensions for passenger seats, including legroom and width, and prohibit airlines from involuntarily removing passengers from flights after they've cleared the boarding gate. In April 2017, video went viral on social media of 69-year-old passenger Dr. David Dow being dragged from a United Airlines flight at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport after he refused to give up his seat to make room for a crew member. United apologized and promised not to remove seated passengers to make room for other passengers. But airlines have heavily lobbied against new rules limiting fees. Airline revenue in the United States from baggage and reservation change fees increased from $5.7 billion in 2010 to $7.5 billion in 2017. Other fees are not reported to regulators. Congress is set to vote on the measure next week ahead of a September 30th deadline. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
An alarming UN report on magical realism released this week warns of increased incidences of women's tears flooding the entire world. A UN committee linked the catastrophic phenomena to matronly widows, commonly named Tita and Esmeralda, who wept for up to 90 days on end about their estranged lovers.
Just consider how detrimental it is to a nation's workforces to have thousands of its plantation overseers simply disappear one night into the midsummer fog, only to return decades later without having aged a single day. Put simply, if such phenomena are not immediately halted, the effects on the international community will be catastrophic.
The nation's limo drivers spent a magical prom night playing scratch-off tickets in the parking lot this week. According to sources, chauffeurs nationwide began their enchanting evening by cramming swank magazines into their glove compartments before dropping off their students at a school gym, working through a stunning assortment of lotto cards, and dining upon a wide range of microwave-heated taquitos from a nearby 7-Eleven.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition. Kicking off hour number 2, it is Mark with you.
And Darryl.
The number, should you wish to participate, is 855-450-3733. And, that's what we do here on Free Talk Live. We open up the phones and let you call in to talk freely here live on the radio. And one thing that we're talking about right now, Darryl, is there's a lot of talk about socialism with the success of the Bernie Sanders campaign and that sort of thing. But can people who talk positively or even negatively about socialism define it?
Well, that's the article that we're going over from Fee, written by Dan Mitchell, who says that he's...
It's fee.org,
yes.
The Foundation for Economic Education.
Yes, and I did post this on the social medias. He says that he's written about socialism quite a bit, and he's even defended, though not necessarily favorably, when people call Obama a socialist. He cites a couple of diagrams that he's made, but then he says even socialists don't know what socialism is. And he quotes the New York Times in one of their articles in support of socialism, and he says the claim that socialism is freedom sounds bizarre because it is bizarre, but it's not new. And he mentions FDR's so-called Economic Bill of Rights.
Right. There's this difference. It goes back to the claims between positive and negative rights. So a negative right would be basically what's listed in the Bill of Rights.
The right to bear arms has never, as far as any conversation I've ever had, has never been construed to mean that some government somewhere must provide you with weaponry with which to defend yourself.
No.
But somehow, right to education has been construed not to mean that you have a right to learn what you wish to learn, but it's been construed to mean that someone else must pay for you to learn what you wish to learn.
Correct. Right to health care means somebody else must pay for your health care.
Right. Not that, no one can legitimately prevent me from seeking the medical care that someone is offering to provide in a free and open market. So it's one of these really weird things to where people want to use the term right to both simultaneously mean quote-unquote negative right and quote-unquote positive right, but use each when it fits their, agenda, I guess.
I guess one of the problems of democracy, the idea that everybody gets an opinion. If you... I try not to express...
people can have opinions in absolute monarchies. They just don't get to express that opinion on election day.
At some point or another, they could just have a revolt. So the people's opinion does matter. But I think that people need to step back for a second and realize my opinion on brain surgery is of no value.
Oh, I have an opinion on brain surgery.
Leave it to brain surgeons.
Yeah, I am not skilled enough to wind up doing brain surgery, and there are people that do know how to do that.
Leave rights to rights theorists would be my argument.
I don't even know what a rights theorist is. It sounds like a term that you just made up.
Nope, there are people out there that call themselves rights theorists, but it's a, leg of philosophy.
So, shall I continue?
Please do.
Author here says socialism will mean, well, the proletariat will decide at some point. From the New York Times, there's not much discussion yet of classic socialist tenets like worker control or collective ownership of the means of production. Today's socialism is just getting started. In magazines and on websites, in reading groups and party chapters, socialists are debating the next steps. State ownership of certain industries, worker councils and economic cooperatives.
State ownership, by the way, the state owns lots of industries. The state owns the roads. The state owns water. The state basically owns the distribution of electricity because it travels along its right-of-ways. The state owns cable and internet distribution to some extent because it travels along their right-of-ways.
I'm going to sort of take issue. The federal government isn't operating the internet service providers.
Federal government isn't the state.
So, all right, I guess this is one of these things where we need to define terms, and it's where people wind up calling me pedantic.
Yep.
By the state, do you mean the state governments like state of New Hampshire, California, Utah, or do you mean that entity which claims monopoly control over a geographic area?
So what I would say is that those states come together, those 50 states that you're referring to,
yes,
come together to create a federal government,
yes,
which is a form, which is part of their state power, and they also disperse their state power into municipal organizations.
Right.
And as a result, they allow power transmission over their right-of-ways on the road. When they do that,
right,
even though they don't own the power company.
Right, and that's why when you said the state owns the production of power.
No, I said distribution.
Okay.
So the distribution of power, like you can have all the power you want on your land, but if you can't distribute it, then you have nothing. And when the state decides who gets to distribute and who doesn't get to distribute, that's what we call control. Control is a function of ownership. And that would be my argument, is that basically if you can control how I distribute, to whom I distribute, at what price I distribute,
right,
I really don't have ownership of whatever I'm distributing anyway. And power companies go to the state, and usually they get a sweetheart deal, mind you.
Yes, they do.
But nonetheless, pricing. There's a lawsuit right now in play in California where the power company's asking, should we go bankrupt or pass on our settlement costs for setting fires?
Oh, right. You're talking about, what is it, PP&G?
I don't know what the name of the company is, but whatever it is, either way, the consumer of electricity in California is screwed. In one case, the new power company comes in, takes over, does negotiates a whole new deal. Or in another case, they get the cost of the fire, which they were supposed to be being made whole by the power company.
Correct.
Now they have to pay their own settlement, basically.
Yes. No, it's kind of like when somebody gets assaulted by police and there's a rare settlement where the police department is held accountable. It doesn't come out of the pockets of the officers that did the thing. No. It comes out of the tax, general fund. So we're increasing your taxes to pay you a settlement.
Well,
aren't you so lucky that you're paying your own settlement?
Beaten up, it's a bit different. That's collecting the settlement towards one person. In the case of people who had a fire in a given area,
the person that ultimately gets the settlement, his taxes are going up just like everybody else in town.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're going up by a small amount. But,
right. Continuing on with this article again with a subquote here from the New York Times. Talking about the various things that local socialist groups are talking about, worker councils and economic cooperatives, mass action, some of which are illegal, always confrontational, will determine socialism's final form. As Marx and Engels understood...
Socialism hasn't even reached its final form.
As Marx and Engels understood, it is workers who get us there, who decide what and where there is. That, too, is kind of a freedom. Socialist freedom. The author here then asks the question,
since when do workers get you where you want to go? I mean, yes, you have to have workers and everything, but I mean, this is it says nothing of the power of management.
Well, see, the socialist, as I understand what they kind of think they understand about what they believe. They think that management is oppressing the workers, so therefore the workers should be the workers and the management simultaneously.
There's some evidence that worker-owned companies do quite well, but they have management. Those workers hire managers because they see the value of managers, because there's value in managers.
Some worker-owned collectives work out, other ones not so much.
Ones that are well managed.
Well, we've covered stories about there was the Socialist deli somewhere in Michigan, I think it was, where they wound up going out of business after like 4 years because it was taking like 45 minutes to get sandwiches, and nobody knew the hours of operation because they were decided on a whim.
855-450-3733. That's 855-450 free as in freedom here on Free Talk Live.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink, like we have. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening at home anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition. It's Mark with you.
And Darryl.
The number, 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. Liberty.menu, Darryl.
It's a website that, unlike what we've been talking about, socialism, it actually helps you find businesses and events and digital content run by libertarians. People that actually want real human freedom, not this, other thing that they're claiming somehow brings freedom, and we'll certainly get back into the article. But yeah, Liberty.menu, it's a tool for our community. Again, at its core is a directory for events, businesses, digital content, and more. Listings can be rated and reviewed, kind of like on Yelp, but there's also a bit of a social networking aspect where you get to connect and share with other users. And those users are people that reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at liberty.menu. Use code FTL to get a special Free Talk Live listener badge. We can't give you a discount because the site is free to use. Liberty.menu. Code FTL gets a special Free Talk Live listener badge.
Liberty.menu. Let's go to the phones, go to the fun. We've got Sarah from New Mexico.
Speaking of socialists that can't define socialism, Sarah, how are you?
Yes, I wanted to bring up that, the Earth is going to have a polarity switch. So I think that means
What's that mean?
North Pole, I think it means is that the way the North Pole is going to, the field is going to switch to the South Pole, and the South Pole is going to switch to the North Pole. And this happens every 11,000 years. And so when this happens, Greenland is going to melt, and Canada is going to melt. And so Canada is going to be a chain of islands. And Greenland, obviously, it was named Greenland because it used to be green 11,000 years ago. There was a reason. Now it's just nothing but ice.
I'm reading from fountainmagazine.com. Many conspiracy theorists like to claim that a magnetic pole shift will mean doomsday, but according to scientists who have studied geologic history, such a pole shift is nothing to fear. It has happened hundreds of times throughout Earth's history, though it could mean big changes for human civilization. We cannot be absolutely sure whether it will end the Earth or not.
And actually, Greenland was called Greenland not because it used to be green, but as Eric the Red said, he thought that people would find it more attractive if it had a favorable name.
But it was a hell of a lot warmer than it is now.
Right. I don't know what the real, but it's supposed to melt quite a bit. And also, most of the rivers that are flowing north and south will be flowing backwards. So, like Mississippi is flowing south, but if the magnet, if that pole that's pulling the water south go to the north, the water will be flowing up north.
I don't think so.
So
I mean, at this point, even the rivers most rivers head towards the equator, whether they're north or south. So if the poles switch, then the rivers should continue to go towards the equator.
Yes.
I think there's one that doesn't, and I can't remember whether that's the Yangtze or something.
The Nile.
The Nile? Yeah, that's right. It heads away from... You're right.
Yes.
It does head away. And that heads the direction it heads because, well, it's higher where it starts than where it ends. And a river water will flow towards the lowest point, and it doesn't matter what direction the pole is.
Right.
Well, the Mississippi River is supposed to flow backwards, and it's supposed to be like 30 or 50 times wider. And I'm here in New Mexico because New Mexico, Colorado, and Arizona, we're going to be above water because of the high altitude.
You moved to New Mexico because of the polarity shift that was coming?
Yes, I actually did 17 years ago. That was I used to be in Boston, and that's what propelled me to be here.
You don't sound like somebody in Boston. You sound like somebody from New York.
I lived there for 3 years, and I loved Boston. I would have stayed, but they've been having floodings. Uh-huh. You know that they had the biggest flood, and Florida is going to sink. And we're having flooding in South Carolina. I think South Carolina is going to sink. And I'm trying to convince the Californians, but like I said, they'll only believe it when they're drowning, doing dog paddle.
You're kind of like a modern-day Noah.
Well,
no, that would mean she'd have to build a boat, and that would require, some level of work.
Why build a boat when you could just go to high land?
But here's the thing. I was actually listening to Art Bell, a repeat show.
Don't move to a place because you heard it was a good idea on an Art Bell show.
Well, there was a guest. Her name was Tori. It was actually at 1997. So that was aired like 21 years ago.
Okay.
You can do math. Good.
It was Art Bell. But they had a guest, and she got all of this revelation from the Ascended Masters, from the other side.
What?
And they all had different names for all these states. We call it, Illinois and Georgia. I think they're going to be okay. But they had other names, and then they get these revelations. And you know what? Quite a bit of these people got new maps and revelations. That's how I learned about it.
Revelations from the Ascended Masters.
Right, Art Bell, and then, of course, George Norrie had a show. He had another guest on about this, polarity switch. So it's going to be, I think, underneath all that ice, Canada is chains of islands. And also
there's islands up there, yes.
There are a bunch of islands in northern Canada.
Big ones, too. Big old islands up there. Well, Sarah, thank you for the warning. What?
I'm talking about when all of the ice melts from the northern Canada.
Right.
Okay, the land pieces are actually islands, chains of islands.
Uh-huh.
And you can look at a map and see that there are a bunch of islands in far north Canada.
So this is the part that I don't get that the Ascended Masters might have said, like maybe I missed it all. It's cold in Antarctica, right?
Right.
And like there's frozen tundra, like the big sheets of ice in Antarctica, right?
Yes, there are.
And Antarctica is the south, yes.
Yes, that's the south one.
That's the one at the south. Good.
If it switches polarity, and there's frozen ice at the north, by Greenland and the Arctic and all that stuff.
Yes.
So if we
where
see
Santa lives.
Where Santa lives. If we see a switch in polarity, would it not mean? I'm just guessing here.
Santa moves to the South Pole. Because then the South Pole becomes the North Pole.
Right. The imaginary elf that gives away presents to kids has to move. But other than that, it's cold on both ends, so a switch should just mean that it remains cold on both ends. Right?
Oh, you're trying to logic here.
Let Sarah answer. She's got the line to the Ascended Masters. What do you got?
Well, so I'm not the one. Tori is the one that's getting these revelations from...
Yeah, but she's not here. You're the closest one.
Right, but see, she's just getting like the third-hand
Ascended Masters,
Ascended Revelation Master thing, and so she doesn't have all of the answers.
Yeah, well, I suspect that nobody does. Sarah, thank you so much for your time on this one. The number, 855-450-3733. I can't live my life as though this is a problem.
Yeah, I'm not worried about an imaginary pole being shifted somewhere.
855.
There's not an actual pole.
450-3733. People have gone looking for it.
I know.
It moves around. 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
I'm David Hall, founder of Diamond Gusset, where we're proud of our 100% grown and sewn American-made jeans. Whether you're out for dinner, working on the farm, or on the road, Diamond Gusset Jeans offers a full spectrum of styles and sizes for any occasion. To find yours, visit gusset.com. That's GUSSET.com. Our loyal customers enable us to continue sponsoring Liberty media outlets like the one you're listening to. In Liberty, David Hall, Diamond Gusset Jean Company.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Talk Live. It's a live Sunday edition. Mark with you.
And Darryl.
Want to tell you about Zen. Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. What's that mean? It means it's secure. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond just cryptocurrency. Mind you, cryptocurrency is a great use, but it includes the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global, HORIZEN.global, horizon.global. Darryl, we're talking about the definitions of socialism. Apparently, socialists don't even know it.
Yeah, and it's fairly interesting here because the author of this article, he keeps quoting other sources, and one of them that he's quoted a couple of times is the New York Times. And in one of their pieces, the authors of that New York Times piece, he doesn't name who they are, so it might have been an editorial, not really sure, but they wrote, as Marx and Engels understood it, it's workers who get us there, who decide what and where there is. That, too, is a kind of freedom. Socialist freedom. The author then asks the question, is that the freedom to set up gulags and exterminate enemies? I guess we just have to wait and see. He then goes on to quote a professor named Noah Smith, who wrote something in Bloomberg. I'm going to skip over that, but he sort of explains Smith is concerned that advocates of socialism don't understand the risk of too much government. He cites a couple of examples, including the failure of price control and how India suffered from statism before initiating reforms in 1991. He then talks about some of the problems in the UK and the Thatcher reforms that may be the most important because the Brits actually tried real socialism, i.e. government ownership over the means of production. And then he has a quote again from Smith on that. Jumping down, he actually has part of a book review by Bill Scher, who reviewed a book written by a group of socialists: Felix Biederman, Matt Christman, Brendan James, Will Maneker, and Virgil Texas of the socialist satirical podcast Chapo Trap House, who make bank by selling you a candy-coated version of socialism, one that may offend real socialists even more than the liberal gruel peddlers like myself. That being the quote from Bill Scher. I'm not calling myself a liberal gruel peddler. Continuing on.
I'm not sure what a liberal gruel peddler is.
Nor I, but it doesn't sound good.
No.
The indoctrination begins with a...
Am I a libertarian gruel peddler?
I don't know. I don't even know what a gruel peddler is.
Well,
I can guess.
Yeah, it sounds pretty self-explanatory.
Yes.
Gruel being some unpleasant form of food.
Yes.
Peddler, a person who sells an unpleasant form of food.
Yes.
So we are the, sellers of unpleasant food.
Yeah, I like good food myself. The indoctrination begins with a condemnation of America's containment of Soviet communism. Who cares if the Soviets won the Cold War, they write? After blaming American-led capitalism for the world's ills, the authors take aim at their favorite target, liberals. In their evisceration of liberals and establishment Democrats, we get the usual left-wing criticisms of Barack Obama and Bill Clinton's presidencies. The Chapo Cruz romp through the histories of feckless liberalism doesn't stop with Obama and Clinton. Jimmy Carter is slammed, as well as Lyndon Johnson. Not even FDR escapes their wrath. The author of the article here at FEE says, by the way, I can't resist interjecting to point out that socialists had good reasons to condemn Bill Clinton's presidency. After all, economic freedom increased during his term, though I suppose they should also be free to criticize other Democratic administrations for their supposed sin of not moving to the left at a faster rate. The conclusion of Scher's review is brutal. After slogging through 276 of the book's 282 pages of bad history, the authors finally get around to their grand plan. Spoiler alert, this is literally it in its entirety. And then he quotes a paragraph. After setting everyone on equal footing by seizing the billionaires' money, socializing their wealth, and handing the keys of production over to the workers, you're looking at an economy that requires something like a 3-hour workday, with machines taking care of most of the drudgery, and as our public fund pays for things like health care, education, scientific research, and infrastructure.
Where'd the public fund come from?
All this technology actually makes work quicker, easier, and more enjoyable. The public fund comes from seizing the billionaires' money and then taxing everybody equally.
Well, that is a fantasy, right? This is one of the fantasies of the left. Now, I'm not saying the right doesn't have fantasies too. It absolutely does.
Yes.
But we're talking about the left here. And one of the fantasies is that somehow...
Not just the left, but the socialist. on the left.
Right. I mean, yes, there's a distinction, but it isn't much of one. Most of the left is some form of socialist by their own explanation.
Well, I guess if you're a conservative, everybody's a socialist.
Well, if you're a libertarian, everybody's a socialist. Conservatives don't understand that they're socialists too. But
no, I'm a libertarian, and I acknowledge that, there are some people that are not socialists that also aren't libertarians. There's still some form of authoritarian.
Well, I say if the government exacts control over your property, that the ultimate means of production is, and I understand words have to have definitions, so yes. I'm willing to go with socialism is state ownership of the means of production. However, the problem with that is there's basically two means of production: land and the resources contained therein, wood, iron ore, these sorts of things,
right?
And people. So if the state claims control over you in the form of income tax, it's a tax over your future labor, meaning your body, the use of your body, and the state enacts control over your land, i.e. property tax, through municipal delegation. So if it claims to control land, it claims control your body, it claims all the means of production, and that's socialism. However, I understand that we have to, it's no good to just boil every word down to component parts and then nothing means anything anymore. So, yeah, going back, I was saying something about the socialist left when you derailed me into answering more definitional questions.
You said,
can you help me out?
You were talking about the left wants fill in the blank, and I was saying it's the socialist on the left, and you were lumping them all together.
Yeah, well, I can't tell you what I was going to say now. So you got a definition of what socialism was that I understand isn't perfect, but still can fit within the definition, and I'm derailed. So there you go.
Let me go back up. It was in response to the claim of seize the billionaire's money, socialize the wealth, then hand over the keys of production to the workers. You then get a 3-hour workday with machines taking care of most of the drudgery and public funds paying for healthcare, education, scientific research, and infrastructure.
Well, I hope that works out for them. But here's the question I have is, as a person who is willing to pick up their life and move from Sarasota, Florida, for what I believe to be in the future more freedom. Not that there's a libertarian state here in New Hampshire, although it's much more libertarian than most states.
Yes.
And probably more libertarian than most places in the world. But that's beside the point. It's certainly not perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
As a person who is willing to do that, I kind of wonder to myself, if you look to, I don't know, a Scandinavian country and you say, they're sure doing it right there, why don't you move there? I mean, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to say get out. I just have a question.
This is sort of the opposite of, why don't you move to Somalia?
It's a good question.
And the thing is, they don't actually have socialism in Scandinavia, and we covered that in depth not too long ago.
Agreed. 855-450-3733. Please answer the question for me. 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save ATPurse.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
When you use public Wi-Fi, hackers and identity thieves can see anything you do online. Embarrassing photos, your web history, even your passwords. That's why I use private internet access to encrypt my internet connection for less than 10 cents a day. Sign up now at privateinternetaccess.com, and in just a few minutes, you'll be browsing anonymously and only sharing what you want to share. privateinternetaccess.com. It's time to protect your online privacy.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size for incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency. Get to goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. goberkey.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition. It's Mark with you.
And Darryl.
The number is 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. If you want to call in on people jumping to conclusions, maybe about the Kavanaugh situation, socialists who can't define socialism, socialism as a possibility. We were just reading an article here on all the great solutions, whatever it is on your mind. It doesn't have to be any of those things either. The number, 855-450-3733. Let's go to Carl calling in from New Jersey. Carl, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call, gentlemen. You probably didn't hear the news breaking, but it was on my station that I'm listening to you on. They said another woman just came out against Kavanaugh. She said he exposed himself at some university or something. I forgot if it was Yale or Harvard. But I expected it because it's just a stall tactic. They think they can push it off to the election. But if they do, I think there's going to be more Republicans elected into Congress and the Senate. It's ludicrous what's going on. They shouldn't even have waited for Miss Ford to speak, because when I was in high school, anything like that happened, everybody in the whole school system knew about it. And when I called my local station this week, I gave them examples from my high school. I didn't just say that. I actually gave them 3 examples that I knew about, and everybody in the whole school also knew about it. So what do you guys think? Another stall tactic? Another woman went out? What do you think?
I wouldn't throw my reputation on the line in order to stall somebody, but I do believe other people stall a recommendation for the Supreme Court, but I do believe other people would. So a Supreme Court nomination's important. And, it's the reason that many people voted for Trump over Hillary or Hillary over Trump. Many people rightly, in my opinion, rightly vote for the president based on the Supreme Court nominees that president is going to make. And if you're talking about Darryl?
I don't think I have ever, and I'm just confused about the statement that you think a lot of people vote for the president based on who you think that they think that person's going to nominate to the court. I've never used that as a determining factor of how I vote in an election.
I went on the air multiple times.
I didn't either.
Well, I did. I went on the air multiple times and said during this 2016 election that, look, I find both of these candidates distasteful, but if I were to make a choice between the two of them, I would pick Trump because I'm petrified of the Supreme Court nominations that Clinton would make. And so
I agree with you. And I also think Hillary should be in jail for what she did. You name it, the foundation, her emails, the server, and well, let's go to Obama. Would his Justice Department? I mean,
I'm generally against putting politicians in jail for white collar crimes. I think a much harsher punishment would be hold on. I think a much harsher punishment would be to make them work minimum wage jobs and pay their own bills and buy their own clothes and pay for their own housing.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that, but I don't know if it's true. I thought way back with the Clintons that we built housing for the Secret Service there. We paid for it, and with the rent they charged for it, they paid for their mortgage.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, because a former president can charge rent to the Secret Service that they are required by law to have. And based on everything that I've heard, and I've not independently verified this by doing FOIA requests, but everything that I've heard is that the Clintons were charging Secret Service to the penny what their mortgage payment was.
Right.
That doesn't surprise me. So if a soldier, if you can expect a young person to go out and die to take a hill that a politician will ultimately give away and has historically given away multiple times. So if you can expect a young person to go out and fight and die, give up their life for some meaningless hill with just a number on it, then it wouldn't surprise me if some people would throw their reputations away. I cannot imagine myself doing it, but you're right. Here is the woman at the center of the story, Deborah Ramirez, who's 53, attended Yale with Kavanaugh. She studied psychology and sociology. Now, sociology says to me she's a screaming liberal. I've just heard sociologists almost to the person are, outrageous socialists. So I don't know. I don't know, but it's just what I've heard.
Talking about jumping to conclusions.
It's a conclusion. I'm just putting evidence together. Indeed, I haven't punched anybody in the face. I always come down to. Thank you for the call, Carl. I appreciate it.
Okay.
I always come down to proof. If you're going to make an accusation, I suppose if a preponderance of accusations come forward, that's some level of proof for Kavanaugh. But at this point, now we have an accusation from college that he exposed himself. Does that mean he went streaking? I don't know. I haven't read the story. I don't know what the accusation is, but I know that just as we read earlier in this story, that one person's trying to find a 2-year-old's family is another person's pedophilic kidnapper.
Right.
And so is somebody streaking? Because that was a thing back in the 80s. Is somebody streaking indication of some kind of deviant behavior? I don't think so. Being naked isn't deviant behavior. So I don't know. I'd like to hear more about these accusations, but I guess I'm not surprised that we see another one come forward. Interesting. It's on a Sunday night. We get the story. What do you think? 855-450-3733. Let's go to Joseph calling in from New Jersey. Joseph, you're on Free Talk Live.
Thank you. What a coincidence. 2 in a row.
Yeah, 2 New Jersey
deep
callers.
South in the woods.
So what's
deep south of the woods in Atlantic City.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
Been there? No. You told me you've never been here.
What's that?
You said you've never been here.
I have never been to. I briefly went through Atlantic City one time.
Oh, well, yes, sir, but you have no idea. The Pineys, they're local people in the woods. I have no idea.
Yeah, I read some story somewhere about there's a big forest in New Jersey, and that's where the New Jersey Devil lives.
Oh, I've heard of the New Jersey Devil.
Yeah, that's about all I got.
Not the hockey team, but like this mythical creature thing.
Yeah.
That may or may not be related to Sasquatch.
Well, Darryl being from the deep south, you know what about those things from the local peoples. Mark's from Florida. You're Darryl from Alabama?
That's right.
I am from Alabama. We don't have Jersey Devils in Alabama.
Good Lord, down in Alabama, right?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
I'm having a difficult time with your accent, Joseph.
I called about Sarah's comments and from New Mexico. She's from New Mexico. Sarah calls once a week on a Sunday.
Yep.
Oh, she calls basically every night.
She calls.
Well, I want to get you on a Sunday here, right?
Yep.
All right.
Because I'm poor and don't have a computer. It's $500 for a computer.
Indeed. Radios are a lot cheaper. They're great entertainment.
And the government will take them all away if I'm nasty or something, right?
The government will take a computer away? Nah, they can't take it.
Yeah, if I do something wrong, and they'll come in and take everything I have about that, and they might not get it back.
They could. It seems unlikely, but they'd probably take your radio, too.
Nah, that's free. I get out of trash, a radio, right?
You could. You might get a computer out of the trash, too, these days.
I could plug it in any electric outlet. It costs me nothing to listen to a radio.
Pretty much.
So Sarah's talking about the holy book, book of Revelations, the very first, the holy book, and then the second chapter was about Jesus, right? That's what Sarah was talking about, the book of Revelations.
No, she was talking about some kind of revelation given to some ascended master that was on a late-night talk show that deals with a lot of, let's just say, conspiracy theories.
Anyway, Joseph, you got about a minute here, so just go on with whatever theory you got.
Yeah, I know, it's a long topic. First of all, that's totally backwards. It was the Masters of Ascension. And she started reading a different book called the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is about the Indian religion that's next to China.
Yeah, I actually read the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah. Isn't it beautiful?
It's been a long time. I found it to be, it's poetic, yeah.
You're Mark, right?
That's right.
Right, and it's about man, woman, a goddess, God, right? Hare Krishna, Hare Rama.
I almost don't remember. It's got to have been 20 years now since I've read it.
All right, it's totally different. It tells you the creation and the ending. It's very different. It's much better than some whacked out book that she's talking about. Everything's backwards. So she had it all backwards. Where the river's running backwards. The Canada up north is backwards.
Yep, Canada is up north.
Warsaw, Poland. What happened about that? Warsaw, Poland. Ask Sarah in New Mexico about that. Warsaw, Poland, underneath Germany and to the left of Russia.
Joseph, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Let's talk tough. Let's talk comfort. Let's talk about down-home value. Made in the USA blue jeans, like you wore as a kid. Remember?
There's a place down in Tennessee where they make blue diamond gusset jeans. They so pride in every stitch. Guarantee you'll love the way they fit. They put a diamond gusset in the crotch where you need it most. Blue diamond gussets got it, others don't.
For good old-fashioned comfort, get Diamond Gusset jeans. Every stitch guaranteed. And our Defender motorcycle jean comes Kevlar reinforced. See them at GUSSET.com, that's gusset.com, or call 888-848-7738. That's 888-848-7738. Diamond Gusset jeans got it, others don't.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, September 23rd, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.30 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,199 per ounce. Zen is trading at $16, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,729. Antiwar.com reports 4 gunmen in military uniforms aligned with separatist groups attacked a military parade on Saturday in the Iranian city of Avaz. The gunmen opened fire on civilians and tried to shoot officers on the podium overseeing the event. At least 25 people were killed in the attack, some as young as 4 years old. Over 60 others were wounded in the attack. Iran reported 2 of the gunmen were killed and 2 of them were captured. The Islamic State has claimed credit for the attack, which was followed up by a group called the Arab Struggle Movement for the Liberation of Avaz, claiming they were actually behind it. The claim by the Islamic State was likely false, as they claim to have tried to assassinate Hassan Rouhani, who was not even at the event. The Struggle Movement is an Arab separatist group that wants to make southwestern Iran an independent Arab-dominated nation. Iranian officials were quick to complain about Gulf Arab states backing such groups. In addition, Iran summoned the ambassadors of Denmark, Britain, and the Netherlands after the attack, complaining that the nations are hosting members of the separatist groups and pushing for them to list the organizations as a terrorist group after the attack. An initial statement from the Iranian military blamed the U.S. and Israel for orchestrating the attack, though subsequent statements focused on the Arab separatist movements and regional nations who sponsor them. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They are working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports a federal judge on Friday called for U.S. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross to sit for a deposition in a lawsuit against his department regarding a question about citizenship being added to the 2020 census. In March, the Commerce Department announced the question would be included in the census, which the Trump administration said was necessary to enforce the Voting Rights Act. Democrats have argued that adding the question will lead to an inaccurate population count because it will discourage some immigrants from filling out the questionnaire. In April, then New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, along with 17 other attorneys general and mayors of 6 cities, filed a lawsuit to block the Trump administration from demanding the citizenship information in the 2020 census. District Judge Jesse Furman of the Southern District of New York said Ross needs to testify because he was personally and directly involved in the decision and the unusual process leading to it to an unusual degree. Earlier this year, Ross testified before the House and said the Department of Justice initiated the request to include the citizenship question, and afterwards he decided to take a hard look at the request. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. Reuters reports the U.S. airline industry scored a victory on Saturday as bipartisan congressional legislation dropped plans to mandate reasonable and proportional baggage and change fees, but includes other new passenger protections. After weeks of negotiations, a 1,200-page bill to reauthorize the FAA was unveiled early Saturday that would require the FAA to set minimum dimensions for passenger seats, including legroom and width, and prohibit airlines from involuntarily removing passengers from flights after they've cleared the boarding gate. In April 2017, video went viral on social media of 69-year-old passenger Dr. David Dow being dragged from a United Airlines flight at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport after he refused to give up his seat to make room for a crew member. United apologized and promised not to remove seated passengers to make room for other passengers. But airlines have heavily lobbied against new rules limiting fees. Airline revenue in the United States from baggage and reservation change fees increased from $5.7 billion in 2010 to $7.5 billion in 2017. Other fees are not reported to regulators. Congress is set to vote on the measure next week ahead of a September 30th deadline. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
With each successive bite failing to relieve his anxieties, increasingly worried man Dylan Hawks told reporters today that he has yet to come across any trace of guacamole in his burrito, despite having specifically requested it when ordering.
No, there definitely wasn't any guac there. Cheese, beans, chorizo. Oh man, I hope they didn't forget.
Hawks has continued to maintain hope that there may still be an undiscovered sliver of avocado somewhere in his tortilla. However, with his fears for the meal mounting, Hawks has reportedly considered asking the cashier for a refund at various points while eating the burrito.
The thing is, if you had a burrito and it was missing cheese, you might not notice it because there's sour cream, but guacamole is completely different. I just don't know how I wouldn't have tasted it by now. Christ, I'm almost done with this thing.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. You may call in and talk about whatever you want here. That's what we do here on this live Sunday edition of Free Talk Live. All the editions of Free Talk Live. It's called Free Talk Live for a reason. It's Mark with you.
And it's Darryl.
That's right. You can call in and talk about what you want. The number is 855-450-3733, or you can use the Discord chat at discord.freetalklive.com. You'll have to download the app in order to do it. It probably works best on your phone, but it'll increase the quality of the call dramatically. Let's go right to the calls. We got Matthew calling in from Louisiana. Matthew, you're on Free Talk Live.
So I thought of something funny yesterday while watching Japanese monster movies.
Japanese monster movies?
Yes. If Godzilla's the solution to your problems, you have real problems.
You have a real problem.
Hold on. Is Godzilla ever the solution in any of those movies?
I'm beginning to think that Washington, D.C., Godzilla is a solution. Yes.
It might be. Yes, he might be. Well, actually, if you see Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, yes, Godzilla is the solution. But
Godzilla meets Bambi is still my favorite all-time Godzilla movie.
I don't think that's a original Toho production. I'm just
probably not.
It's probably not canon, but it's only like 35 seconds long.
Oh, well, there you go. Favorite, you like them short and sweet. Okay. What y'all talking about in the beginning with people jumping to conclusions. I have a Jeep Cherokee.
All right.
I've already jumped to a conclusion about you. All right.
It has an AMC 6-cylinder engine in it that takes a long time to warm up.
Okay.
All right.
I used to like to do my warm-ups by rolling down the street slowly with the engine idling and just picking up the car as it goes. This panicked the parents of the little children who were waiting for the school bus while they waited in their Humvees with the 50 cals on the ring mounts. They were afraid I was an evil child snatcher. Now, I don't know if you've ever owned a Jeep Cherokee.
I have a friend who did.
They're tiny on the inside. You could not stuff somebody who was trying to resist you into a Jeep Cherokee unless you were unbelievably strong. At which point, once they're in there, you try to jump in and drive the Jeep off, they're killing you.
If you
So
if you're worried about leaving your kid at a bus stop, you probably shouldn't leave your kid at a bus stop.
You probably shouldn't let your kid take the bus.
You probably shouldn't send your kid to government school. Worse
That
things
too.
are likely to happen there than the bus stop.
I agree. But nonetheless, they called the fuzz, and I told the officer, the JPSO, what I was doing, and he bust out laughing. He was like, "Oh, my God, I don't believe the people called in on this." He's like, "All right, I'll be sure to tell them that you're not a threat."
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I can understand why they're so panicked, because the news media makes every parent of a child convinced that pedophiles are cruising the streets looking to snatch your kids up. And Fox News Radio has hired Nancy Grace. Oh, yeah, that's great. The woman who sees a pedophile behind every bush.
I guess, I mean, it's just a function of modern society. I remember it was probably 2 years ago. My wife and I were dropping a friend off in Connecticut on our way back to New Hampshire from Florida. And my son had been on a long car ride. And I told him quite literally, get out, run around, and make noise. Because he was getting very, very antsy. So there's a little cul-de-sac, and he was running in circles around the cul-de-sac yelling. And this would, in an adult, be very strange behavior.
Yes.
But I kind of feel like for an 8-year-old, this is normal behavior. This woman comes out of her house and begins to chase him down to find out who's chasing him so that she can save him. Now, he comes running to me and hides his face behind my midsection, my flank, and then the woman's apologizing to me because she scared him. Now she wants to apologize to him for scaring him. Maybe you should just stay in your house, lady.
Now, hold on. Let me say that if I saw that kind of behavior, I would probably, pop outside. Is everything okay?
Perhaps
but I wouldn't start chasing a kid.
Well, you can project your voice better than she can.
Right. So, I could make sure that the person 2 blocks over heard me if I wanted to.
You certainly have that advantage. So
there's one last thing I'd like to get to before y'all dispense with me, which I can understand because I can be a bore. Have you heard of something called the reports by The Guardian and several U.S. newspapers, and it was funded by shadowy groups, the Alternative Influencers Network on YouTube?
I have heard the name. I don't know anything else.
Never heard of it.
Well, if you go to Sargon of Akkad's YouTube channel, you will see all about it. And what these people are scared of is like, really? That's weird. And then one last thing is, have you heard anything about the latest videos dropped by Project Veritas?
No.
Okay.
Project Veritas is that, what's the kid's name? He's very, very controversial.
James O'Keefe. Yes, he's no longer a kid, and he now is doing more serious journalism than he was earlier.
Okay.
But if you watch these videos, you're like, wow, this just kind of confirms everything I always thought about government.
And so what's the point of the video?
What's confirming about government that I already thought?
Well, basically that these people are corrupt and they don't care who we elect as president or senator or congressman. They're going to pursue their own agenda.
Is this the deep state that we've heard about?
Yes, is. It's the bottom of the deep state. It is the lower levels of the deep state.
So is that the weaker or the stronger parts of the deep state? I don't know what lower level means.
Well, it's basically, we're talking about GS3s and GS2s and GS1.
Those are
I have no clue what those are.
A GS is a government pay scale, so a GS 1, 2, and 3 don't make much.
Okay. Got it.
We're talking about the bottom dwellers, where obviously you would have to be embedded for quite a while before they would let you start to talk to people at the GS4 and higher level.
Okay, see, the map that I was drawing in my mind, because you were talking about the deep state, I'm imagining like a tunnel going down, and the further down in the tunnel you were, the deeper you were. So when you said like GS1, 2, and then, that's the, like lowest rank, then they would be like the closer to the surface?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. More like an inverted pyramid. I could see that. Yeah.
No, because it's the deep state, so it would go down into the ground, and the deepest, darkest depths of whatever would be, like the shadowy figures.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that government bureaucrats at any level, whether it's the GS 1, 2s, and 3s versus the 7, 8s, and 9s, that they have their own agendas, and that's pretty clear. Their agendas are going to include protecting their job, protecting government bureaucracy, basically preventing whatever Trump thinks draining the swamp means, preventing that from happening because they're the swamp. Once the bureaucracy,
they're the alligators in the swamp.
Yeah, once the bureaucracy is created, it's very difficult to get rid of. Basically, you need a war to get rid of them.
Right, and even some of these hiring freezes, it's just saying, once Susie in accounting retires, we're not hiring anybody to fill in for her.
Yeah.
We're just, shifting around her work, but we've still got to make sure that, somebody works at the DMV and somebody works over in this paper pushing thing.
Yeah, don't expect government to get efficient just because Trump was in there.
You can't fire government workers. They have civil service protection.
Oh, I said nothing about firing. I said you just don't hire somebody to replace somebody that quit.
That's about the only
that's the hiring freeze.
They gotta die. Thanks for the call, Matthew. 855-450-3733. I want to look into these Kavanaugh accusations that have just come out here 33 minutes ago. This New Yorker article had come out. That's probably about closer to 45 now. 855-450-FREE.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, my dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform and generate income from them. This will allow Horizon to bring thousands of real-life services to the community, services that provide freedom, utility, and privacy. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community, HORIZEN.global.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Talk Live. You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
And Darryl.
Number's 855-450-3733. There's a new accuser in the Kavanaugh, appointment situation. And we're going to get to that here on Free Talk Live. But we're also going to get to your calls first, because that's what we do. I want to tell you about Bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. SaveItPurse.com is an interface between you, other people, and Amazon. It allows you to, since 2014, they've had more than 200,000 users save an average of 15% for a combined $4 million in savings using Bitcoin. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, that's BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 and 33% on things that you were going to buy anyway at Amazon, and they got pretty much everything. So when you could save 25%, I'm just pulling a number out of the air, and you can save 25% using SaveItPurse.com.
I've done it.
That's a big raise that you're giving yourself on things you buy day to day. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. Save at purse.com. That's save, A-T, purse.com. Brought to you by Bitcoin.com. Check out their YouTube channel. They do a great weekly Bitcoin.com news piece. Katie in Missouri. Katie, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I'm actually bothering with this call. I am a government worker,
okay,
and I am sitting here working tonight.
Thank you for your service. What are you doing?
I'm just taking care of some paperwork because I'm not going to have time during the week. And the caller who said that government workers cannot be fired is not true.
Are you a U.S. government worker?
What's that?
Are you a U.S. government worker?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Because it's not true that you can't be fired, but would you agree that it's much more difficult to fire a government bureaucrat, specifically a U.S. government bureaucrat, than anybody else?
Well, I can't really compare. It has to be documented properly. I know there are a lot of people out there working within the government who, who are a waste of air, much less a waste of their salaries. And, unfortunately, that's been allowed to continue for a lot of years. But, you can't slam all government workers. I've got coworkers I know are working.
I hope it wouldn't come that way. Let me tell you a story real quick. My wife worked for the state of Florida, and she worked for the vocational rehabilitation, and her boss was very, very careful about who she hired because her boss was under the impression that she would have a very difficult time firing them, whomever they were. And once I tell you the story, you might agree that was true. So my wife goes in. We're going to move from Florida to New Hampshire. She's got to quit. She's going to quit at about September. By the time she's done, she's finished her full year's worth of work, And she's got extra cases that the boss then distributes to the other employees who are behind and may not make their annual goal. So, some people are out there pulling significantly more weight, my presumption is, than the rest of the office. And I would guess that's because, the rest of the offices realizes they don't have to.
Well, that's probably very true.
Yeah. I'm sorry that you're the one that has to do it, Katie.
Well, no, I mean, all of my coworkers are doing the same thing, I'm sure. So, but it's true. Yes, there are a lot of them that are wasting money and time, coasting, that kind of thing. But there's still a lot of us that pull our weight and theirs.
How long you been there, Katie?
So,
I don't want to ask you where it is. I'm not going to get you in trouble or anything like that. But how long you been there?
15 years.
15 years.
About 15 years.
Man,
yep.
And you're still not jaded.
No, I still believe in the cause. I believe in our mission. So, yep.
Good for you. Thanks for the call, Katie.
Yep.
I love the idea that somebody's out there. There's somebody, burning the midnight oil, working in a government office, trying to make things work where they are, knowing that in many cases they're not going to get any backing from their fellow employees. That's how group projects tend to work.
Right.
Right?
Like, yeah, well, what's the 80-20 rule?
It's like that.
That 80% of the work is done by 20% of the people. I remember one time, and this isn't from any of the handful of times when I did work for some government somewhere, but when I used to work for an airline, one time, boss asked me, Darryl, can you do this? Darryl, can you do that? And I just got fed up.
Yeah.
And I said, John, there's 10 MFers sitting in the break room not doing anything. Go ask one of them to do it. He said, they're not going to do it. You will. You'll yell at me. You'll get upset, but you'll actually do what needs done.
Yeah.
All right. F you. And then I went and did whatever he wanted. But we had that sort of, relationship to where I could tell the guy to F off, but he knew that I would do what he asked me to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's really difficult position to be put in, in that circumstance, which you're going to do your job,
right,
and other people aren't. And if you want a productive organization, if you want an organization that is going to be operating somewhere near efficiency, you got to kind of cull the bottom. In my opinion, you should be culling the bottom 10% every year. Your 10%, the 10% of your workforce that is least productive needs to be set free to go work where they can be more productive. Because there's something they're going to do well, some things they're going to do poorly, and that's true for everybody.
Oh, several of the coworkers that I had, and I use the term coworker very loosely here, when I worked for the airline, they put in way more effort avoiding work than if they would have just done the job they were hired to do.
That's what my uncle said about the Air Force, is it almost ruined him for real work. And I've said that over and over on the air, and people tend to agree with me. I don't want to take the wind out of the sails of good people like Katie, who are out there working hard, burning the midnight oil, and getting the job done. Because, talk about thankless. Pushing papers around and all that stuff. It's tough.
Now,
but it has to be done.
We didn't ask what department.
I don't want to get it. I didn't want to get too close.
Right. So, before you, I'm just going to
say paperwork.
Right. But before you start thanking someone for doing paperwork, she might be working in a prosecutor's office, filing paperwork on people that had, just like small amounts of cannabis driving across state lines.
I hear what you're saying. I do have an appreciation for people doing their job, even if their jobs suck, right? If you took the job up, and she said she believed in the cause, so I'm presuming she's not shoving people onto the train cars, right? Whatever that bureaucratic job might be. But maybe she is. I don't know.
No, there are some people that are prosecutors because they believe that everybody's a criminal and needs to go to jail.
There are some jobs the government does that, I believe that some people need to go to jail, mostly because they're a danger to society, but I suppose that there are some people that just aren't going to figure it out from any other form of punishment. But anyway, the government Government has taken over many tasks that are productive. They just create inefficiencies in the process.
Yes.
In many cases, because you can't fire the bureaucrats.
Or it's very difficult.
Yeah. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Ever wonder how Bitcoin and Ethereum were created? Vercel Media has helped hundreds of companies and individuals make their own cryptocurrency. Decentralized blockchain solutions are making the world more transparent and giving power back to the people. Vercel Media has helped companies raise tens of millions in the past year alone, structuring and marketing ICOs to the thirsty crypto public worldwide. Don't miss the cryptocurrency revolution. Visit vercelmedia.com, VERCEL media.com.
After logging onto the Xbox One game console at one of his classmates' homes, 12-year-old Michael Cutler admitted to reporters this week that he really does not have the slightest clue about what his friend's name could be.
I mean, his name might be Brian. No, wait, Brian's my other friend, the one with the PS4. Yeah, if I'm being totally honest, there's no way I can tell you his name. Not a chance.
Noting that the boy had, quote, an absolutely huge HD TV and a bunch of games his mom won't let him play, Cutler confirmed that he could recall only the faintest details about his friend, including the fact that his mother makes chocolate chip cookies and that he has a dog of some kind.
He's got Killer Instinct, Assassin's Creed, Battlefield 4, and Titanfall? Man, that game's awesome. Anyway, I've just been calling him Flamethrower because that's his gamer tag. Hopefully he doesn't catch on. Hey, can I stick around for a few more hours? I'm so close to beating this.
This is the Onion News Network.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Talk Live. It's a live Sunday edition. You can call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. Here, it's Mark with you.
And Darryl.
And we are going to go to the phones. We've got Gene, the Christian anarchist, calling in on the Discord chat. Now listen how good this audio sounds here on this live edition of Free Talk Live. Gene, can you hear me? Aren't you clever?
Very clever.
Sounds pretty good when there's no static, I guess. Yeah, I wanted to talk about all of this crazy sex hang-up talk that's going around on everything, it seems like. There's now this thing against Cody Wilson, and of course all of this nonsense with Kavanaugh, and people want to think, for some reason, I guess this is the liberal agenda, they want to believe that women always tell the truth about sex. I don't know what universe they live in, but I've learned from my years of experience on this planet that women do not always tell the truth about sex.
Well, I mean, if humans tell lies and women are humans, and men are humans, then we can presume that 50% of the lies that are told will be female and 50% of the lies told are male, right? I mean, why is it that I mean, this all comes down to despising male sexuality and elating upon female sexuality, to my mind.
That's true. And even children lie. And this is another thing that, it was so politically incorrect to think that women or children might lie. But it happens, and it's happened many times, and many people have been hurt through those lies. But today, if you question a woman or a child, honesty, they make you sound like you're Hitler, for Pete's sake. It's absurd, because obviously children and women lie, just like men lie. So the bottom line is to try and get to the truth. And I use a 90-10 rule whenever I hear anything in the paper or on the internet or any kind of media, any source, even science. My 90-10 rule is, I think 90% of it is false and 10% of it is true. So then I have to sift through that information and try and determine which is the 10% that's true. Because
I guess I don't have to sift through it, because my opinion on Brett Kavanaugh really isn't going to make much of a difference, right? Like, if I think that he's guilty or think he's innocent, it's probably not going to change the fact that he's very likely to be, put through, nominated here in the very near future. But I think what you're talking about, sort of, people's filters and what's true and what's not. I've got pulled up here in front of me is it the McMartin preschool incident? Do you remember this one, Christian anarchist?
Yeah, what a bunch of nonsense.
This was back in the 1980s in California, where the case was that the first daycare abuse case to receive major media attention in the United States. The case centered upon the McMartin preschool in Manhattan Beach, California, where 7 teachers were accused of kidnapping children, flying them in a plane to another location, and forcing them to engage in group sex, as well as forcing them to watch animals be tortured and killed. And I think there was some incident where they were like cooking kids, and they were claiming that they were cooking kids and eating them, and all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, the accusations were outlandish and kept getting worse. Like, these things would happen in the basement. There was no basement. All kinds of crazy things were being,
they just want you to believe that there wasn't a basement.
Right. So this makes me want to read a little bit about this from this most recent accusation against Kavanaugh. The New Yorker contacted Ramirez, that's the lady who's making the accusations, after learning of her possible involvement in an incident involving Kavanaugh. And this is good investigative journalism. Excellent stuff, work by the New Yorker. The allegation was conveyed to the Democratic senators by a civil rights lawyer. For Ramirez, the sudden attention has been unwelcome and prompted difficult choices. She was at first hesitant to speak publicly, partly because her memories contained gaps, because she had been drinking at the time of the alleged incident.
And it also was 20-some-odd years ago?
Yeah. Well, this is the freshman year of college, so it's not much more than the high school incident that had previously gone on. In her initial conversations with the New Yorker, she was reluctant to characterize Kavanaugh's role in the alleged incident with certainty. After 6 days of carefully assessing her memories and consulting with her attorney, Ramirez said that she felt confident enough of her recollections to say that she remembered Kavanaugh had exposed himself at a drunken dormitory party. To me, that's not the way memory works.
Right. This is called implanted memories, and it's a common occurrence, especially with children. People will try and convince them that something happened, and by golly, they're going to get up on that stand and they're going to swear 100% this happened, that happened, and none of it happened. It's like that daycare thing where they said there were tunnels underneath the buildings. There were no tunnels there. It was just nonsense.
Yeah,
and so many of the patriots fall for this. You know, these people that call themselves patriots, the Alex Jones crowd, whatever, they just suck this stuff up and start spitting it out like it's true.
Right. And I've listened to enough of the wrongful conviction podcast to wind up, seeing this sort of thing be a recurring theme. And they refer to it, I believe, as like reconstructed memories, to where you remember bits and pieces, and then somebody that, like they might have a suspect in mind, they're like, all right, so did he look like this? And if you're not entirely positive and somebody else is, sort of making suggestions to you, then your memory is then going to form to what you're being suggested that it could have been. And then you wind up wrongfully identifying somebody and saying with 100% certainty that somebody was at a place that there's DNA evidence and other physical evidence to show that they weren't even in the same county at the time the thing happened.
It happens. Christian,
and this is not a new thing. It's happened for thousands. It's happened ever since politics has raised its ugly head on this planet. But always somebody will paint the other side, whoever the other side is, as some kind of horrible monster. Well, currently, the most horrible monster we can paint anybody as is a sex crime person. So nowadays, they're using all this propaganda to throw sex crime on it. Anybody they want to paint dirty. And, it's
a convenient allegation because the proof is there's no evidence in the crime. There would be no evidence in the crime. In this case, she's saying he exposed himself to her, and that
there's not going to be evidence.
There would be witness testimony, but that's it from 20-something years ago, and that's about it. So you would think that some of these witnesses would come out and say, "Oh yeah, I saw this happen. Not that it happened to me, but that they saw it happen." But we'll see. We will see. Thanks for the call, Gene. Appreciate it.
So I got curious and decided to pull up a list of unsuccessful nominations to the Supreme Court.
Can't be a very many in the last 30 years or so.
In the last 30 years, 2.
2 unsuccessful? Okay.
Harriet Miers.
Okay.
During the George W. Bush administration was withdrawn, and there was never a Senate vote.
Was the first George W. Bush or the second one?
The first Bush was George H.W. Bush.
Okay. All right.
The second one was George W.
Is this the
2005.
lady that employed somebody who was an illegal alien as a housekeeper?
I don't know, but she was withdrawn before there was a Senate vote. And then the other was Obama in 2016. Remember that thing where the Republicans swore up and down that we just can't vote on Supreme Court people during election years because it's just never happened.
The Biden rule?
I don't know if it was the Biden rule. I thought it was something that the Republicans came up with because they didn't want to vote, and they just never voted, and so he failed because they never voted.
I heard it was one of these agreements in the Senate. The Senate's full of agreements. You never know.
Yeah.
855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops. Get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening in your home anytime, anywhere. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Blink is an Amazon company.
Hello, this is Dr. Bill Deagle, MD of NutriMedical.com, announcing the breakthrough Red Deer Velvet DR. It delivers the protected building blocks of all organs and tissues, allowing your own stem cells as architects and engineers to regenerate you. Not since fetal life, when aging does not occur, has such an amazing NutriMed been available to help heal you and regenerate you. Anti-aging requires that you correct mineral, activated nutraceutical, and jump the gene defects and poor diet you have to deliver the cellular tools for regeneration. You must remove old damaged cells and replace them with your young healthy cells to wind the biological clock to a younger you. Order your Red Deer Velvet DR now at NutriMedical.com 24/7 or 888-212-8871. That's NutriMedical, NUTRI, medical, MEDICAL.com. Or call our order line 888-212-8871.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too, you know.
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. It saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a little town in Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating around like that could be dangerous. Have you checked with the Consumer Product Safety Commission?
Well, not yet.
Come to think of it, you actually are flying, aren't you? Look, you need to go over to the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation...
It's very hard to get anything done these days if you're in business, but free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. A public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue, Washington.
We just can't have people floating about unregulated, you know.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can call in here in the final segment of Free Talk Live. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Want to tell you about Blink Home Security. Darryl, we've got one here at the studio. I've got one at my house. And these are great systems. Basically, you got a camera. It's got an LED, very bright LED light on it. Something moves in front of it during the times that you set. You can set it different times. Something moves in front of that camera. You get right on your phone a notification and some video. So you know what's going on at your house within seconds of moving. Usually like 1 second is pretty much how long it takes for my phone to let me know that I have walked out in front of one of these cameras in the middle of the night. But, I mean, you can set these things up the way you want. It takes about 10 minutes to set it up. It's great. You got the live feed option, lets you monitor what's happening in your home anytime from anywhere. I've popped in on my cameras at my house and seen the cat just to see what she's doing.
Meow.
Yep, just see what she's doing. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra $15 off. It is a great
15%.
deal. 15%. I'm sorry, 15% off. It's more than $15, as a matter of fact. It's a great deal comparative to the other options out there. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL. Blink is an Amazon company, by the way. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Let's go to Robin calling in from South Carolina. Robin, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Good evening. 3 things, actually.
Robin?
One, yes. Are you there?
Yes, I am. What's on your mind?
Okay, great. 3 things. One, I think throughout history, every time there's been need, there in any area of anyone's life, there have been other people to answer that need with opportunity, or there have been other people who have seen someone else's need as their own opportunity. Sure. And I mean, you need just sit back and listen to people that you rely on, listen to people that you trust, and try to listen with an open mind, particularly, let's say, news coverage or a religious service, and see, draw the line in your own mind between what is information and what is indoctrination, and unfortunately, it creeps into just about every institution because we have allowed the institutions of our society to turn into industries. That's one thing.
Everything's about the money, right? You follow the money.
Sadly. Mr. Trump came in with the message of draining the swamp. I believe he has shot himself in the foot. He put together a team of people that seem to think that they deserve his position. When you have a cabinet secretary who actually says to someone who's trying to help them decorate their office that the budget is not enough to pay for a seat he would put his behind in, that's someone you need to send packing. Who the hell's supposed to be in a government position, allegedly there to help us, all of us? We pay a salary, and he wants to sit on a throne? What's up with that?
Yeah.
Trump needs to lose. He needs to lose these people. He unfortunately
hasn't he lost a lot of them though. I mean, isn't that just going to throw him into that much more turmoil?
You know what? I think that all the vetting that they did, narrowing down choices of people to present opportunities to get in these positions, there are some number 2 and number 3 people who are, chomping at the bit right now, going, "Damn, I wish I was in there. God, I wish he'd call." Yeah. And frankly, I bet you, if he doubled back, he could find good people, because some of the ones, unfortunately, that he chose, obviously have no loyalty. All these leaks and the other things. I'll be honest, I did not vote for him. But wait a minute, I did not vote for Hillary Clinton either. I voted for a third-party candidate.
Which one?
Constitution Party.
Okay.
Darryl Castle. And frankly, I would have loved to have seen, and I'm sure you'll love to play on words here, I would have loved to have seen a Trump Castle ticket, right? But he was somewhere between, I would say, somewhere between a moderate Republican and in some ways a libertarian, but he was definitely committed to the idea of ending the Federal Reserve, which I think is necessary. Now, the last thing I want to say to you is I'm glad you brought up the McMartin case. That is what I've been thinking of since all this foolishness has started. And when I say foolishness, God forbid, please let me double back and be very clear. I'm not meaning to dismiss anybody's claims. I don't know the truth of anything anyone's saying. I don't know any of those people. I don't know any of their circumstances. It's just the bombardment. It's just enough to make you vomit. And it's sad, it's sick, it's twisted. But again, it's also in every institution. Damn it, it's in the churches too. And, there are the sad thing, the worst thing in the world to me is that, there's some people who unfortunately go after people they simply don't like. And they will say the worst thing they can possibly think of or put other people up to it just to hurt that person just to smear them, just to damage them.
There are those that would sacrifice anything to prevent this nominee from going through. They'd sacrifice anything they could.
But Kavanaugh's not the only one. It happens in every facet of life. There are truth tellers and there are liars. There are, and I don't like the fact that these folks name that thing a Me Too movement, because the whole thing of Me Too, it makes me think of the people who are insincere and who jump on a bandwagon, and that just makes my skin crawl. My prayer, my fervent prayer, is that whoever the hell is coming forward and saying things about anybody in any situation, I hope it's true. I sincerely hope it's true for this reason. I think that the opposite. I think that if they're lying, damn it, if they're making up things and they're saying these vicious, ugly, disgusting, soul-killing things about people, and they're not true, they're not going to benefit anybody. In fact, it's going to spiritually damage everyone, including the American public, because we do not need nastiness. It just goes to a different level. It takes it to a whole new bottom. It just takes everything. It takes just the American mindset to a whole another level of just there. It's as though we know no limit.
If these accusations are true, the difficulty with them, even if they are true, the difficulty with it is that there's never going to be any proof. I mean, I suppose that somebody could claim that they were there or whatever. In the second accusation, there were supposedly people in the room. And the first one, basically, it was, three folks in the room, and there's no real way to... There's just not going to be any evidence. So an accusation without evidence is difficult to believe, period.
Right. Well, and even when you have alleged witnesses,
Yeah.
People. Again, who? Wait a minute. Who's? What's their angle? What? In one situation, I mean, God, I don't want to focus on any particular accusations or any particular situation that's out there. There's so many across the board. There's so much stuff that's just like every damn day it's just like a dam break or something. There's all this stuff, and it's so nasty and it's so awful, and it's just so, like I said, it just feels spiritually contaminating, and you just like vomiting. I mean, it's the most dreadful thing. Again, my prayer is that if someone's going to say something, then damn it, I hope it's true, because if not, that is just the heralding. That is just the confirmation that we know no limits in this country.
Thanks for the call.
We know no freaking limits.
I think she's right. I think she's right. Let's go to Discord. David from New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live. David in New Mexico. Can you hear me? David going once. Must have his microphone.
Are you in the room?
Yeah, I'm in the room. Microphone's unmuted. He's probably got his microphone muted somehow. I don't want to tell you. With this Kavanaugh thing, I don't really have a horse in this race. If Kavanaugh gets kicked out of there, then somebody else is going to come along and fill his spot. Somebody who's there's another few dozen people waiting who are just like Brett Kavanaugh to fill this spot. I don't want anybody to be accused of something they didn't do.
Right.
I don't, if this is something that he is guilty of, well, I mean, it happened at high school, and that's a long time ago. I'd like to know that he was sorry for whatever occurred. But I mean, if everybody's held to account for everything they did from the time that they're, you threw some blocks at some kid when you were 4.
Throwing a block at somebody when you're 4 and sexually assaulting somebody, not exactly the same thing.
Not the same thing, but sexual assault is in the eye of the victim. I mean, this is basically involuntary wrestling. Free Talk Live, 855-4... I'm giving the...
We're out of time.
FreeTalkLive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcast